Hello everybody, myself Kalantri Nikita. You are watching LawPutra YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss one of the most important act in India, that is the Government of India Act 1935. Firstly, we will see the general introduction and the general background of the act. Then quickly we will jump into the salient features of the act. So let's just get started. The Government of India Act 1935 was actually passed by the British government in the same year, and it was one of the most lengthiest and the bulkiest act at that time, which actually consists of 321 section and 10 schedule. It was also the last act passed by the British India, and which is passed by the British India before the country divided in the year 1947. After the Government of India Act 1935 was passed, the government observed that, or we can say that the government saw that as the act is so much lengthy, it will become little difficult to make the provision applicable. Right? So what government did is the government divided whole act into two parts. The first part which we get is the Government of India Act 1935, and the second part which we get is the Government of Burma Act 1935. Before the Government of India Act 1935, there was Government Act of 1913 which was in existence. The main loophole under this act, that is the Government Act 1919, was that it was not satisfactory at all, and at the same time the provision were too short to be imposed in the country. So then after the Simon Commission comes into the picture, the task to make the necessary changes or to review the matters was handed over to the Simon Commission. But the report which was given by the Simon Commission was not satisfactory. So the matter for the consultation was discussed in Roundtable of 1930, 1931 and 1932, and the third Roundtable Conference, and finally the bill presented into the Parliament, and this came to be known as the Government of India Act 1935, which was actually passed by the British Parliament. So from this we can say that the act was based on the Simon Commission report. Second is the recommendation of Roundtable Conference. Third is third Roundtable Conference, and the last which we have is the report of the Joint Select Committee. This is the basic intro and the background of this act. Now let's just quickly see the salient features of the act. The first feature which we have is All India Federation. Here the federation consists of British Indian province. Here the province means the state. So the federation here consists of British Indian state, and the second is Indian state, which is also known as a princely state. So here the British Indian provinces would have to join the federation, but on the another side it was not compulsory to join the federation for the princely state. Also, according to this act, India can become India can become a federation if 50% of Indian state decided to join it, but also it was failed to do so. The second point which we have is the provisional autonomy. Basically it means that the power is given to state to make the rules or regulations or laws and the bylaws for the respective state. Here under this we can take the example of governor. The governor have a power to make the rules, regulations, laws and the bylaws for the respective state, and such rules or the regulation which is made by the respective state will be applicable within their territory of the state only. Also, the governor is required to act with the advice of minister under this head. The third point which we have is the division of subjects. As we all know that the Indian Constitution have provide us the three lists. The first is central list, the second is state list, and the third is concurrent list. Likewise, under this head too, there is a three type of list. The concurrent list consists 59 items, state list consists 54 items, and the last one which we have is the concurrent list consists of 36 items. So yeah, these are the 3 points. The fourth point which we have is the directory system. This act completely abolished the directory system. Directory is a government ruling by two independent authorities, and under the same there are two categories of federal system. The first one which we have is the reserved subject, and the second one which we have is the transferred subject. First we will see the reserved subject, then we will come to the transferred subject. The subject mentioned under this reserved subject was completely administered by the government by the governor general with the advice of council minister, which should not exist more than 3 members. The subjects which is included under this head is religious affairs, defense, administration of tribunal areas. This is the reserved subject. And on another head, that is the transferred subject. The subject under this administered by the ministers, and which could not exist more than 10 members. The subject which is included under this head is the local government, forest, education, health, and etc. Fifth one which we have is the bicameral legislature. We have the bicameral legislature, that is Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Likewise, under this head 2, the central legislature consists of both the houses, that is lower house and the upper house. Lower house is also known as a federal assembly, and the upper house is also known as the council of state. Both the obviously both the houses have different composition, and the election of a federal assembly is of indirect election, and the term period for the federal assembly is of 5 years. Sixth one which we have is India Council. Apart from directory system, this act also completely abolished the India Council and provides the appointment of Secretary of State and his team of advisors, which should not consist not less than 3 members and not more than 65 members. Seventh one which we have is a franchise. Franchise, we can say that it is the most highlight feature of this act. Actually, under this act, under this head, the act was introduced. This act introduced the direct election in India, which was actually introduced for the very first time under this act. Eighth one which we have is the federal system. It means that the establishment of a federal system, the establishment of a Supreme Court for the proper interpretation and the application of the law, and also to adjudicate the disputes which has been raised. Also, it consists the Chief Justice and also the judges, not more than 6. And apart from this, it also have the original jurisdiction. It also provide the provisions related to appeal, the provisions related to special leave petitions. Ninth one which we have is the reorganization of provinces, that is the reorganization of state. Under this act, many states have been actually reorganized. Also, at the same time, the Simon Commission proposed that the Burma Act should be separated from the Government of India Act. So the Simon Commission proposed this idea to separate this both act, and the same was actually accepted. So yeah, these are some of the these are the basics, or we can say these are the brief of the Government of India Act 1935. Apart from this, we do have the criticism for the same. The first and the most important criticism under this act we have is the act actually gives more power to governor and the governor general, and that they could play the role of dictator. The second criticism which we have is the federation. The point before I started the salient features, the first feature which I explained is the All India Federation. So under that, what we discussed is for the princely state, it is not compulsory to join the federation. Like, it is not, they can come voluntarily, but it is not mandatory. So this is also come under the head of criticism, and like this there are many more. Last but not the least, one of the most important point is the current scenario is the Government of India Act 1935 was actually repealed, and there is presently there is our Indian Constitution. That's all. Thank you.